Sup everybody? Hope all of y'all are doing undeniably fan-freaking-tastic out there. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's vlog day once again. And I'm trying a new angle here. I don't think I've done an angle like this before, and even if I have, folks, I've done over 500 of these. Cut me some slack, okay? But yeah, I'm trying a unique angle here to where I actually have the camera a little bit higher than my head level. So we're gonna try and get through it, okay? But now, before I get into the main topics of this video, I do want to go ahead and get some spoiler reviews out of the way. I don't have anything written down, so I'm just gonna try to, wing it, I guess. But yeah, today I want to talk about Squid Game and Ironheart. Alright, now before I get into my reviews for those, of course I will put a timestamp warning in the description below. But, yeah, so, man, this year I've caught up on a lot of stuff. I've caught up on a lot of series. Let's see here, this year I've caught up on, what was it? I caught up on Healed with Stephen Amell. I caught up on that one. This year I also ended up catching up on, what was it? Oh yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I finally finished that one this year. Good grief. I did end up finishing the original X-Men 90 series. I mean, look, not counting X-Men 97, I'm only 3 episodes into that one. But as far as the original 90s animated X-Men series goes, yes, I did finally catch up with that one. Let's see here. Hey, look, I know I'm 10 years late, but I did finally... I know I'm 10 years late with this, but... I still haven't caught up with Naruto yet. Ugh. I didn't start watching Naruto until 2015, and I'm still not caught up yet. Heck, at this point, if I start trying to watch One Piece now, I might not get finished till at least, I don't know, 2030, 2034, somewhere around there. But yeah, I also finished up Squid Game this year. Now I know Squid Game has been around since 2020, but Squid Game actually already had 3 seasons under its belt, and by the time I finally got to it, season 2 was already over. And shout out to Chungus. He may be watching this vlog right now, but Chungus was the one that got me into Squid Game to begin with. Now, me and him, we had a deal. I said, look, I'll go ahead and watch Squid Game if you watch Heels. And he still hasn't watched Heels yet. But, boy, Chungus, if you're out there watching, me and you gonna have a slobber knocker, son. Nah, I'm playing. But, yeah, for what it was, Squid Game was kind of cool. I can't deny that. I mean, at first, the whole show, with the whole show being South Korean, I was kind of apprehensive about going into it. But when I was able to find the dub version of it, I was like, okay, I can work with this. And watching the dub version did not take anything away from it. So, for what it was, Squid Game was pretty cool. Alright, so, spoiler talk now. I'm going to leave a description in below so you can skip ahead to anything else you need to, alright? So, spoiler section starts now in 3, 2, 1. So, my review for the Squid Game franchise. Alright, look, I know lately a lot of people, they've been complaining about the way it ended, but this is a case of the franchise being better than its ending. And another example of that is kind of quite the opposite. I look at Pinhead, aka Hellraiser. That character is better than the franchise he's actually in. Same thing with Spawn. Like, we need we need a new Spawn movie one of these days, even though the movie wasn't all that great. But as I digress, back to Squid Game. The whole Squid Game concept, it was pretty cool. But one thing that kind of aggravated me though was like how we saw the full first game in total right there in season 1. But season 2, it ended with that war midway through the game. Season 3 though, it picks up right where season 2 left off. And that kind of threw me for a loop. But even though it was kind of cool, it was still kind of aggravating. I guess from a viewer standpoint, it could have been kind of aggravating. Just from the way it ended, like, it felt like it could have been ended right there at the mid-season pretty much. Even the cicadas are happy right now. They're excited for the vlog. But anywho, yeah, look, I gotta apologize if I'm butchering somebody's name here. I might have to just refer to them as certain numbers, because in all honesty, the numbers of season 2 was a lot more easier to remember than the numbers of season 1. Now, season 1, I think my favorite game from season 1 might have to be the Tug of War. And if it wasn't Tug of War, I guess it could have been, I don't know. If it wasn't the Tug of War. I thought the glass bridge scene was pretty cool too. And I know a lot of people were saying that the jump rope scene was probably worse than the glass bridge, but dude, come on. They're trying unique ideas. If they was gonna make the game entirely similar to season 1, if they was gonna make the game entirely similar to season 1, you know that Gi-hoon 456 would have seen everything coming, and yeah, I guess that was kind of the frontman's influence. He knew that Gi-hoon might have been back, so he had to switch everything up just for the sake of, you know, his manipulation, I guess. So, yeah, like, alright, trying to think about how to put this. Alright, I'll just for the sake of the timing of the video, I'm gonna go and just talk about the ending. Alright, 222 had a baby, and 456 had to carry the baby with him all the way till the rest of the game. Now the front man, he presented him the option of killing everyone before the final round, and with that in mind, he could have walked away. Also, with that in mind, I don't think the front man had any intention of actually killing 456. I don't think he had any intention of killing the baby either. And now with both of them right there at the very end, I mean, I know for the VIP's sake, he could have kept them alive, but also for the VIP's sake, they could have staged the death entirely, just the way that they did for the front man midway through. But anyway, look, one thing that I was kind of thinking about was, like, once they was battling right there at the very end. Alright, once they was battling right there at the very end, I was begging them. I said, look, please, press the button. Press the freaking button. I was thinking maybe in the scuffle, one of them would have accidentally stepped on it, but that wasn't the case. That really wasn't the case at all. So, and look, right there, even at the very end, now I'm thinking about it, if those two just would have left, the countdown clock to keep going, those guards wouldn't have shot both of those players. They wouldn't have shot 2-2, they wouldn't have shot 4-5-6. If the time would have ran out, neither of them would have gotten shot. Because guess what? At that point, all the VIPs would have been out of money. If they was betting on those two individuals, everybody would have been out of money, and the game would have, nobody would have wanted to see the game end like that in a draw. Nobody would have wanted to see that. Also, another thing I was thinking about was the rule didn't state that you had to be alive to be eliminated. Like, I can't remember which number it was, but there was one person that got stabbed right there on platform 2, and he could have been the lunchbox. He could have been the lunchbox that they could have taken over to the circle. I mean, yeah, he was already dead, but they could have at least carried him all the way over there. Another thing that's confusing me is like how that guy how that guy at the end claimed to be the guy's dad. Like, that guy claimed to be the baby's dad, but he was still willing to throw the baby overboard anyway. That part was confusing. That part was really confusing. Maybe it wasn't really confirmed that he was the father or not. I don't know. But did he have that much rage built up inside him to where he was willing to sacrifice his own son just to make his opponent jump? That confused me too. Another thing that confused me was the front man's brother spent so much time looking for this island just to ask him one word. Why? All that time just to say one word. Why? Now look, the front man, the VIPs, they're rich enough. I'm pretty sure that once the whole island had a self-destruct mechanism, I'm pretty sure that once the whole island had that self-destruction mechanism going on, somebody somewhere could have been rich enough to restart the game by any means, just somewhere else. Literally just anywhere else. It is very possible that it could have happened. And I know a lot of people right now, they're clamoring about wanting, I know right now a lot of people, they are hoping to see a Squid Game USA, but to them, I'm saying, what's the point? I mean, look, I would love to see a Squid Game USA, but one thing I'm starting to realize now about all these franchises and all these movies, all these TV series is, look, it's a story, okay? Every story has a beginning, every story has an end. And I hate to say this, but not every story constitutes a sequel. And with that in mind, look, there's some people out. It is hilarious to me how some people are saying that 456 is still alive. Y'all, just let the guy rest in peace. Let the guy rest in peace, okay? Oh man, and that was another thing that was on my mind too. All the years that the Squid Game has been going on, because I remember seeing that room of everybody. Alright, that's one thing that was left unexplained. So you mean to tell me we have the secret game going on, and for years we've had 456 players, but for years we had 456 players, maybe a year, dating back Lord knows how long, and they just end up getting kidnapped. At least once a year, everybody ends up getting kidnapped. Hey, maybe even it wasn't once a year, because wasn't there like a 3-year gap between season 1 and season 2? Who knows? But you mean to tell me that all these people are getting kidnapped? Over 1,000 or more people getting kidnapped through the years to participate in the Squid Game, and once they die, they just die? They just burned? They just have mysterious murders happening under literally everybody's nose? What do? Are they cremating these people? Are they setting the remains to the deceased? Like, that's something that was unexplained. Very unexplained and very confusing. I guess that's one plot hole that didn't make sense. So who knows? Maybe we do need a Squid Game USA just to like fill in the blanks of these answers. I mean, look, yes, I would love to see a Squid Game USA, but based on what I'm reading, it looks like there may not be any intention to do so. But to that, I say the fans need to be loud enough. You Squid Game fans, you need to be loud enough. All right? Heck, just like My Hero Academia ending later this year. I don't know if it's going to be ending this year particularly, or if it's going to end early next year, because I heard that the series doesn't, the final season doesn't begin until October. Who knows? It might last till January. It might last till December, right before Christmas. We'll see. But you fans out there got to be more vocal. The creator of the My Hero Academia franchise has stated that he has no intention of making a sequel, and he has no intention of making a ninth season either. Alright. And, I mean, of course, we're getting that prequel Vigilantes crap, but I shouldn't call it crap. I haven't given it a chance yet. But look, you viewers out there need to make it vocal that you want to see more My Hero Academia. I mean, in my personal opinion, I know I'm kind of rambling here, but in my personal opinion, it kind of sucks that the series is just ending with these students as students, because we're forgetting, dude, they're in a freaking school. It's freaking UA. Dude, we deserve to see these UA students graduate. We as fans deserve to see the graduation of this school. Alright, heck, if they're training, we need to see their training pay off. We need to see what happens when these Class 1A students actually evolve into the next generation of pro heroes. That's what they've been building into. So even if we don't see a new season, I wouldn't mind seeing the occasional movie here and there, because look, I still need to watch Your Next. I do have it on DVD, but I still need to watch Your Next eventually. Alright, but anywho, out of the whole Squid Game series, I guess I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The only reason it's not 8 out of 10 is because of the whole plot hole situation of the unexplainable deaths and the unexplainable kidnappings. Another reason why it's not 9 out of 10 is because of the way the ending was confusing. Look, dude, they could have easily ended the game right there the way both of them wanted to end it in the first season. And the only reason why it's not 10 out of 10 is because the front man got away. So, who knows? It might jump up to 8 out of 10. This review might change to 8 if they do the whole Squid Game USA thing. This franchise is way too popular just to fizzle out into nothing. Alright? Okay. Alright. Squid Game spoiler ending right now. And now Ironheart. And now the Ironheart review starts right now. Alright, so for Ironheart, I have not seen any series garner this much negative reviews since She-Hulk. And that's saying something. I get reasons why the hate is justified against Riri Williams, but folks, one thing we got to keep in mind. All right, it is canon, according to the comics. It is canon that James Stark, aka Jimmy Stark, the son of Tony, actually does become Iron Man eventually. But in the case of Riri Williams, We saw the ending. She did accept Mephisto's offer. She might be turning evil. And if that's the case, who knows? Heck, we gotta have something for Jimmy whenever he does show up. So maybe right now that is the MCU's biggest drawback. Endgame set the bar so high that we are expecting everything to be that great. We are not willing to invest time just to see seeds grow, pretty much. We're seeing seeds get planted, but we don't want to see seeds grow. We want everything now. Mind you, wanting everything now is exactly what made DC have so many errors in the past. So, what do you do? But anyway, for Ironheart though, one thing I will say is that I got extremely happy just to see Eric Andre in it. And now technically, both Eric Andre and Hannibal have their own unique roles in the MCU to begin with. I'm just sad that they wanted to kill Rampage 2 so quickly. Why they gotta do my voice too like that, man? But look, out of all the other MCU villains, I thought Hood was pretty cool. Hood Parker was pretty cool. Like, the way his bullets was coming out of that gun, it kind of reminded me of Yondu's arrow, which I thought that was pretty cool too. And yo, that ending where Parker and Riri was fighting, and they saw that hologram, I thought that was pretty wicked. But anyway, another funny thing I liked was how I was not expecting a battle to take place in a White Castle of all places, but right there at the very end where Riri, she crashed down and landed on the White Castle sign and the letters just spelled out, ouch. Yeah, that got a full cackle out of me. One thing I was kind of hoping for was, like, after everybody got fired, they could have possibly came back and helped out Riri at the very end, have that unique, you know, that babyface turn at the end. Hey, maybe on the elevator going down, Clown, she could have told everybody, said, look, Riri is still alive. If Parker was lying to us, it was okay for me to lie to him. And we need to go help this girl. That's what I was thinking could have happened. But that wasn't the case, unfortunately. Oh, and the way that they connected everything right back to what was it? The way that they could have connected everything right back to the first Iron Man. Obadiah Stane, I think that was his name. The fact that his son is involved, and his son is still technically alive. And with his son still being alive, I think he might still have his powers back. I gotta do more research on him because I know he's a unique character. But, yeah. Again, Riri Williams was not that bad. Ironheart was not as bad as everybody's saying it was. Matter of fact, look, I think I kind of liked Ironheart better than I did Squid Game. Yeah. I like the way Ironheart ended better than the way I like the way Squid Game ended. And that's saying something because I was kind of mad at Riri. I was telling her, please, don't shake his hand. Do not take his offer. Please do not take his offer. And what do you know? She did it anyway. She freaking did it anyway. And one thing I'm wondering though was, does this happen before or after Wakanda Forever? I gotta go back and take a look at that. If it happened after Wakanda Forever, look, why was it the Wakandans helping Riri out? Like, they owed her one. They literally owed her one for this. maybe they didn't. Look, I don't know. I got to do more research, okay? I'm missing out on a lot of bunch of stuff right now. All right. And I'm 25 minutes into this vlog, okay. You know what? I did it 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna do it again. Why not? There. I just stopped the camera and started back up. I just stopped the camera and started it again. Alright. Maybe it wasn't 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was a little bit longer than that. I don't know. But yeah. Out of everything, yes, I'll give Ironheart a solid 8 out of 10. So it would have been 9 out of 10, but no, they had to kill my boy Eric too soon. And look, he had the same afro and everything. He had the same afro and everything. Like out of all of my, like out of every Eric Andre look, I prefer the afro better than everything because that's what I've been used to. But you know, technically, multiverse rules. Technically, Rampage Stu has been in the MCU since 2012. Yeah. Eric Andre Show Season 1. Eric Andre Show Season 1. Eric interviewed an Asian painted green, and he was calling himself the Hulk. I thought that was pretty cool. But, yeah. Spoiler review ending in 3, 2, 1, here. Alright. Now, those reviews took way longer than I was expecting them to. Alright. But anyhow, hope you folks out there had a good week. Hope you folks out there enjoyed, hope you fellow Americans out there enjoyed a good 4th of July, Independence Day, whatever. I had to work for Independence Day. Yeah, I did. I had to cut so much corn. Ugh. Literally, that's all I did since I clocked in. I just got started on shucking and peeling corn pretty much all day for my shift. But yeah, this past week for SSP has been kind of scrambled. I want to give a special thank you to everybody that has tuned in to all 6 episodes of the Don't Roast Yourself docuseries. Now that my story is out there, we gotta see who's willing to listen. And honestly, I really don't know who is. But as I digress, we'll see where everything goes. The seeds have been planted, and we're gonna see if anybody actually pays attention. I want to give a shout out to only 3 people that's actually made the series visually look like it meant something. And that's Chungus, Carter, and Just Lex. It feels like those are the only 3 people that actually, you know, talk to me about anything in the series. So, yeah. Hopefully now that it's up, somebody somewhere will actually, you know, look into it. But anyways, this past week of SSP has been kind of scrambled as far as content goes. Like, I had a lot going on. I had to do a lot of fixes and had to deal with a lot of mistakes or whatever. Like, for example, my gameplay of Kong. It was supposed to premiere Thursday. Yet when I uploaded it, I accidentally left it to the 4th instead of the 3rd. And when I did that, I didn't realize it until as I was trying to upload my drawing of Captain America. So once I figured that out, I just set the premiere to 10 o'clock instead. So the Kong premiere did end up debuting or premiering that night at about 10 o'clock. And I really wanted to upload my footage of my backyard wrestling Saturday, but I had to save that footage for Sunday, as well as upload the footage of my preaching on the same day. So my SSP schedule, it has been kind of very scrambled to say the least, but I still got through it. I mean, Lord forbid there comes a day where I have to upload a separate body on a Tuesday. Ooh, knock on wood. But, yeah, real quick, I want to give a shout out to somebody. I want to give a shout out to somebody named Tristan. Alright, and for those of you that don't know who Tristan is, long before I had the Multiversal Championship story going on here on SSP, I had another belt being defended regularly, and that was a Hardcore Championship, aka the Championship, according to Derek. But that Hardcore Championship was being defended here on SSP under unsanctioned Crash Holly rules. And the first time I did that video, I played it off like I got a package in the mail from RVD, because he was technically the last Hardcore champion to begin with. But since then, I tried playing it off that that belt could be defended not just by pinfall or submission anywhere, anytime, but it could have been defended by any means in any contest. So, rewinding back to 2019, Tristan, he throws a basketball at the back of my head. I'm going to put this video in the description below for you folks to view. But he threw a basketball at the back of my head, and he ended up pinning me right there on the spot. Now, mind you, I just started my wrestling career then. I was still 25 at that point. Tristan was 13. But now, here we are, 2025. Tristan is now 18. And the reason why I'm giving Tristan a shout out is because I think it was last Sunday. Yeah, it was last Sunday. It was last Sunday, actually, where Tristan actually left for Hawaii. Now, why is Hawaii important? Well, because he didn't leave for Hawaii for vacation. No. He left for what might be his new job going forward. Tristan has applied to go into the Army, like the United States Army. And once I told my mom about it, she said that he may have gone down there for training. I think he's gone down there for basic training. That might have been it. But, yeah, whatever Tristan's going to be finding himself in going forward, especially now with talks of World War III on the horizon, my prayers go out to Tristan. And, yeah, I've known Tristan and his family for a long time. Heck, since I even started going to World War about 8 years ago. But, I know Tristan, I know his father Carl, I know the rest of his family, and years ago, I think it was definitely way before 2021, where Tristan gave me this drawing here of Naruto. To James from Tristan, thanks for being a good friend, Naruto. Now look, with a particular small, and I do mean small, crop of youngins from my church, in a way they kind of make me feel like a bigger brother, like an older brother. Alright. Tristan was being one of those for the longest. Tristan did make me feel like a big brother because of how much time we spent together. I am so proud of Tristan, and I wish him nothing but the best for this new chapter of his life. Alright. But, yeah, like, right before Tristan left, though, he, left something behind of, he left something behind that his mom dropped by my house, and she just left it on my porch for me. But, he left behind some comic books for me. Alright. And I'm gonna go ahead and show these off for you. This is what he gave me. He gave me a Spawn. A Spider-Man, and I just think that's hilarious, just the way that one looks. I'm really happy that I got this one now. That's one more series I did catch up on. I did watch all 4 seasons of Daredevil, but I haven't given a review on Daredevil yet because you might find out later on this year. Alright. All I will say is I did like it. Okay, that's all I can say for now. All right, we're in a Stimpy show. That was random. I think this is like a behind the scenes comic book kind of thing. But one cool thing I found out is that, hold up, where is it? I saw the picture of him in here somewhere. Ah, there he is. Technically, Pinhead is Marvel. Technically, he was. Epicenter, both sides of Armageddon, War is Hell. In 1973 to 1975, Marvel published a short-lived comic by this title, and in the fall of 1993, the Purgatorial comic book tradition will be one-upped. October will see the release of 2 new monthly titles that for the first time will chronicle adventures on both sides of a never-ending battle, birthed by the fertile nightmares of Clive Barker. So, technically, Pinhead is Marvel? I gotta do some more research into that one. Spider-Man and Vulture. Spider-Man 2099. I think that's 2099. I can't tell. There's a big arm in the way. Wildcats. Sabretooth. I like the way Mystique is drawn there. I think this is a DC comic book. It might be a Superman comic book because, yo, right there, I see long-haired Superman. And I think that's what the Nicolas Cage Superman was supposed to be. Maybe. Got a Silver Surfer. Just in time for Fantastic Four. Another Spawn. And another Spider-Man. Yep. So yeah, Tristan, thank you for these. I greatly appreciate it. I know he's probably not watching me right now, but still, sending much love and much prayers out to Tristan, aka the Trizzler. I came up with that name recently and he didn't like it, but still, that's gonna be my nickname for him going forward. And now what's ironic is like Tristan was one of the criminals on the cross for my Easter drama, and there was a night where Tristan couldn't make it, so he ended up getting filled in by somebody else, and ironically, his name was Tristan too. So yeah, there is a new Tristan at my church now. I made a joke about Tristan, how he's just 1 Stan out of 3 because he's Tristan, and because you got the regular Stanley, then you got the Bi-Stan, which is B-I-Stan, because that makes 2 of them, and then you got the Tristan, which was him. Alright. So he has 2 more stands out there somewhere, unless somewhere there's a quad stand, which means he'll complete the ever square. The square stand. I'm an idiot. I'm a doofus. Alright, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this vlog on up right now. Oh yeah, and Queen, I know a lot's been going down, but look, here's your shout out, love you, bae. All that stuff, yada yada yada. But yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I know it's been a long vlog, but I had to talk about a lot of stuff, and yeah. Now my camera's dying, for a fact I know that, but yeah, let me go and wrap this up before my camera dies. Alright. Thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And yeah. Until next time, make sure all of you remember. Oh, one more thing. I don't know how Ring Realms is going to play out this weekend. There was too many wrestling events going on. Alright, we got Evolution going on. We got Saturday Night's Main Event going on. We got AEW All in Texas going on this weekend. Heck, NXT Great American Bash. Oh my Lord. goodness gracious, that's 4 wrestling events happening this weekend. I don't know how the heck I'm going to talk about everything. I might have to do everything all in one video. Ooh. Everything's gonna be so scrambled. Everything's gonna be so scrambled. Alright. But yeah. Now, thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I don't know how this week is gonna look. I have no idea how this week is gonna look with so many wrestling events going on. I was talking to Queen Enterprises last night, and I said, thank goodness Slammiversary is next weekend. Alright, but yeah. Until next time, folks, thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, make sure all of you remember to be outrageously optimistic year-round. Booyah. I'm out. Love you all. Here comes my hug of appreciation. Bye.